The Dickson County Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Pamela Witt First Lending Solutions, where your dreams find the perfect mortgage match. Lee Canifax with Health Markets Insurance, your local Medicare specialist, voted #1 for health insurance. Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience, voted the #1 auto dealership in Dickson County. Tim Sutherland with Rolling Hills Realty, where trust meets expertise, navigating the real estate market with confidence and unlocking your home dream. Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, for all your flooring and paint needs since 1970, voted #1 in Dickson County. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, here are Coach Jeff Tomlinson and Casey Patrick.
Hello and welcome to the Dickson High School Football Coaches Show. My name is Casey Patrick. I'm here with Coach Jeff Tomlinson. Coach,
good afternoon.
Coach, Friday's 43-29 victory over Northwest. I know we spoke after the game. I said you were probably pretty happy to get out of there with a win. Northwest played really good. After going back and seeing the tape, did you see anything different that maybe you didn't realize?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we made some mistakes. We turned the ball over a couple of times. Defensively, we didn't have very good gap control and gap integrity, and they took advantage of that and hit us up the middle on a couple of plays. And I know one play we were miscommunicated on defense with one half the side of the team thinking we was running one play, and a couple of other guys thought we was in a different set, different play, and you can't have that. And that all comes down to me. It's being focused, being disciplined, knowing that it doesn't matter that if the team that we're playing is supposedly not that good, as the record indicated, we got to come ready to play. And for whatever reason, Friday night it took us for a little while to get going before we could. We had to shake off some stuff before we could get going, and that's just we can't do that.
Yeah. Now, I told Coach Pena after the game, I said that's probably the best 0-9 team I think I've ever seen. I mean, the way they showed up, and of course, I know that you lost integrity on some of the defensive line plays, but
yeah.
I mean, their running game was really, really solid.
Yeah, it was. And I tell you what, their offensive lineman, number 51, he's one of the best in the league. And, I mean, and of course you got to have more than just one offensive lineman. But the one thing that Northwest did Friday night that they haven't, they didn't do Friday night that they had done all year long was turn the ball over. All year they turned the ball over 2 or 3 times and shoot themselves in the foot and just play real sloppy that way. And I didn't think they did that Friday night. Of course, we didn't help cause anything either, but they did a good job of moving the sticks and moving the chain, keeping the ball going, and not turn the ball over, not have stupid penalties, and that's one of their better games I think they've played all year long. And I give Coach Pena a lot of credit to that because it's hard to keep a team motivated to play, especially that last game of the season when you haven't had success all year. And I thought he did a good job doing that.
Yeah, now, one of the things I felt like you guys did a good job with was getting the ball to Frazier and Redmond, which I know that's always kind of the game plan, but those two guys, again, they showed up in the stat book for you guys, right?
Right, yeah, and, obviously there are two workhorses. We try to mix it around a little bit, and White Grambling had a big run on a keep, and it really sparked us in that that third quarter for us to start the second half. And but our workhorses are Redmond and Frazier, and they do a good job of playing their role and knowing what their role is, and we've talked about it plenty of times. Frazier's there to be that bruising back up the middle and just to get those tough yards and get those 4, 5, 6, pop one for 15, and then we try to get Malachi in space on the edge and give him some room to work with his shiftiness and quickness, and it works for him too. And like we were in a nice little screen pass the other night to Redmond. I'm not sure exactly how far it was, but it was a long ways. It really set up a good promising touchdown before the half, and that's all we did was just try to get him the ball quick in space and let him do his work.
Yeah, and I was going to say that I think the bigger plays on Friday night would have been to me anyway in the first half was the blocked field goal and then the screen pass to Redmond. I think it was about 79 yards. It put you down at the 1. Mm-hmm. That was a huge moment for your guys though, because you needed that score really too. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we were down. I guess 22-15. I guess because we went for 2 there too. But 22-15, and it was less than 2 minutes. I don't know exactly how much time was left on the clock when we scored, but for us to go 80-some plus yards in that drive real quick to get down there and tie it up before the half was big.
All righty. Now, another thing I wanted to bring up. I think White only completed about 2 or 3 passes. Didn't really attempt too many more than that. Again, it relying on the ground game, but the passes again off of that ground game, they were huge and explosive.
Right, absolutely. And we hit Frazier for a nice little gain one time. I know that he was a big first down on a play where he caught the ball in the flats and got to turn it up the rail. And then of course we talked about Malachi's big long run on the passing game, and we missed on a couple Friday that we would have loved to have had back. That there was one down the field that we missed on that we got a little pressure. White had a little pressure on him, so that it kind of made him miss with his accuracy because of the pressure. And then I felt like White had one bad read on the night when I thought he should have checked it down, and he tried for the comeback and should have checked it down and to the tight end on the flats. And but other than that, it did. It was definitely helpful, and it's explosive when we can do it.
Now I used to watch a thing on television that had John Gruden, and he had his quarterback camp, and it was for the draft, and he talked about Spider 2Y banana. And that's kind of what that play looked like. I think the one you're talking about where White went on the deep comeback, but he had, I think it was a fullback or a tight end out in space.
Yeah.
It was a flat, and it may have been a little bit short of the first down of the game, but you want to give him the ball in space and see what can happen.
Yeah, I think that's what I told White. I said, I think you get that. I mean, I don't know if I think it was 4th and 7 or something, and he runs a 5-yard route, which that's the route he's supposed to run. But if you flip it to him and you let him get it and get turned upfield, I felt comfortable that he would get the extra 2 yards and move the sticks. So you got to trust your teammate and your tight end there to just get him the ball and let him work a little bit. And that, like I said, though, other than that, option game wise, I thought White played extremely well. One of our touchdowns there in the third quarter, I think Frazier kind of walks it in from about 10 yards out, and that was a check at the line of scrimmage. So we had made a call from the coach and from the box and the coaches, and it didn't look good, and Wyatt knew that it didn't look good, and he was able to check it at the line of scrimmage, and he made a good check because we walked into the end zone.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because you're probably starting to get a little bit, maybe not more confident. I mean, you know what he's capable of, but you're starting to feel more comfortable with him really making plays like that. And again, that kind of gets back to, I was going to ask about the passing game. You've got to be more confident, right, in some of these plays that are starting to hit with
absolutely, yeah. He's getting more comfortable, and that's the good thing is he walks the line of scrimmage and he's surveying the situation. He's looking at the defense, and instead of just walking up there and just running a play and not thinking about where the defense is lined up, but now he's walking up there, looking at his keys, finding where the safeties are, finding where the linebackers are. If we have a blitz, do we need to flip the play to the other side instead of go left? Do we need to go right? Is it play just not good at all? Do we need to kill and go to our second read play? Because he's got an option on every play to kill the first play and run the second play, and or flip the first play from the right to the left. So he has two options. He can either take the play that was given to him in the huddle, and he can flip it from left to right or right to left. And if he don't like either one of those, he has a kill play where he can go to another play. And it's just that one play that he can go to.
All righty. Well, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the offense and defensive sides. But later on in the show, we're going to talk about Houston. Playoff matchup.
That's right.
It's a big one.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So make sure y'all don't go anywhere.
Tim Southerland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Southerland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydickson.com.
Looking for a mortgage loan? Look no further than First Lending Solutions. Pamela Witt and her team make getting a mortgage easy with no hidden fees and no surprises. We work for you, not the banks, so you can trust us to have your best interest at heart. Get pre-approved in minutes and enjoy seamless, stress-free experience. Apply online or call us today.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick. I'm here with Coach Thompson. Coach, Friday night I felt like defensively they were able to run the ball a little bit. Was that more of an execution thing, or was it an X and O's thing?
First of all, like I said before, I felt like their number 51, their left tackle is really good, and their back is shifty and quick. And the one downfall for him all year long is that he's had trouble hanging on to the football, and he held on to the football Friday night. So we got our plays were there to make. Sometimes we missed a tackle and he would let him get loose, and there was other times where we as a defense didn't have our gap integrity like we normally would, and part of that was lack of focus, especially early. First half we just didn't play well defensively. Second half we played much better because I think we give up 7 in the second half versus 22 in the first half. So. Played much better after halftime, but like I said, a lot of that was lack of focus early. But you got to give Northwest credit because they come out and played hard, kid run hard, and it's just one of those things that we can't do that very often. We can't get away with doing that very many times. So
for sure. Now I will say too, Deontay Crawford, I felt like at receiver had a pretty good game. They hit the running back out of the backfield a few times. Did their passing game surprise you?
They did, and to be honest with you, I felt like it was a little bit surprising. They hadn't had a lot of success throwing the football this year. So again, that's us being lack of focus and not knowing what coverage we're in, or being lazy in our coverage, and that's partly our fault. But you also got to give them credit for making some pretty tough catches. I know the one touchdown catch that they made down in the far end zone was a really tough catch. A lot of times those crossers were designed by us as defense to allow that to happen so we can tackle it up and just, it's a 3rd and long situation. Let's just tackle it up for 6 or 7 yards. And sometimes that happened, and there was a couple times they would get loose and pick up 12 yards on the 3rd and 11, and that was aggravating. But they threw it well, threw it quite a bit better than I was expecting, and, we were lucky to come out of there.
Now, do you think maybe at all that possibly your defense could have been worried more about Houston?
Oh, there's no doubt we're overlooking, because with the game didn't mean anything to us in terms of seeding for the playoffs or anything. It was already set in stone. So we were out there playing a game that was, was a what's it called, a lame duck type game where you don't have any kind of, it doesn't mean much of anything for anybody other than just pride in winning a football game and making it look good on your schedule, which 6-4 is definitely better than 5-5, and we like that. But yeah, there was definitely some overlooking that game.
Okay, now was there anything X's and O's wise or schematically that maybe you felt like going into next week something that you might want to work on?
Well, we did do that offensively. We wanted to put as many formations out on the field, bring the tight end back because we hadn't used the tight end much lately, and bring him back. And schematically, offensively, we were showing a lot of different fronts and formations, so that gives Houston a lot more to prepare for. With us running the option game, when you have to defend the option and you have to defend all 3 levels of the dive, quarterback, and the pitch, when you can formation them, that gets their defense a little bit out of different misalignments. And so now you got to prepare who's got each one of those 3 things out of a bunch of different formation looks. And so it just makes them take a lot of time in practice to work on it.
Okay, now one other thing I do want to ask real quick before we go to break. Of course, I spoke with Elijah Fernandez just a little bit during the game on Friday night, and he was in street clothes, but we're expecting him to go Friday.
I hope so. I haven't seen him yet today, and of course he'll be in here in a little while, a little later on, to get some rehab and see where he's at as far as practice. But I certainly hope he's back and ready to go for Friday night. I do want to mention, defensively, LaDainian Walker's just really playing better every week, and he had another really good game Friday night. Not just because he had a pick six, but because he made some really good tackles. He did a lot of good stuff of stringing the ball down the sidelines, and I just wanted to give him another shout out because he's coming along too, and that's nice to see.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Fellow sophomore with Elijah,
Absolutely.
That's nice.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad you brought that up because I wrote a few sentences about the pick six, and got him in the story, but I didn't think about it today. But I'm glad you brought that up. But we're going to go to our next break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the past weekend. Maybe Coach got to see a few football games. We're going to see what he thinks, and then again, we're going to talk about Houston. That's the big deal coming up. So make sure you don't go anywhere.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. A truly enjoyable car buying experience. Friendly customer service and a great selection of vehicles. Visit us today.
If you're looking to buy or sell in Dickson County, Tennessee, call Tim Southerland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Southerland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydixon.com.
Watch it! Did that guy even see that girl on her bike?
Just like looking for other cars before switching lanes, drivers should keep their eyes out for those traveling on bikes. When a crash occurs between a vehicle and a bike, it's the cyclist who is most likely to be injured. Give cyclists room and do not pass too closely. Riders have the same rights and responsibilities as those behind the wheel.
Be aware, be alert. Brought to you by THSO, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Come see why we were voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. Visit stevejonesauto.com.
If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 paint store in Dickson.
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. My name is Casey Patrick. I'm here with Coach Tomlinson.
Hello.
Coach, now this past weekend, did you get to watch anything that you enjoyed? I know, of course, the Vols played. Tennessee had a pretty good game yesterday.
Yeah, it was nice to watch them yesterday.
Yeah, so did you catch anything else that maybe you liked?
I watched, of course, I spent a lot of time watching football this weekend, which is nice. I had to, we had to winterize the boat, and I had to get the cover on the boat and different things like that. So I did have to work a little bit too, but I did see enough of the Georgia-Florida game. I watched majority of it, and Kirby at halftime, they asked him what he said to one of his players, and one of his players, I guess, had done something that he didn't like. It was a little bit more of a me type thing, and he said, I just reminded him that mission's over team is over me. And I thought that was a pretty good way of putting the fact that, a lot of times these guys get out here and play, and our guys are just as they do it too. It's just, you get out here and you're not playing for yourself. You're playing for not just the team, but you're playing for a whole community. You're playing for a whole mindset, and you're playing for, something much bigger than yourself. And I thought that was pretty neat that he, come up and said that to one of his players right there at half that maybe was getting a little out of control or whatever. I like Tennessee. I tell you, Tennessee really stopped the run really well against Kentucky. Yeah. That wasn't supposed to happen, or according to most people, the Kentucky's run game was really big, and that was the key to the game, and so they did a really good job there. I thought that played well. I thought Milroe played well, or better than he did the week before, which, you're not playing Alabama, so
that helps.
Yeah, that might help a little bit. And so, that was really them two. And then and the Tennessee game yesterday was Will Levis played really well.
I thought he did.
The offensive line blocked for him really well too. And then, of course, Jeffrey Simmons had his best game of the year, and he was wreaking havoc all over the field there and on the defensive line too. But so it was a fun week and things. And like I said, you hear the coach speak a little bit and with Kirby, and that was cool. But you know, I didn't see any plays or anything that I was like, you know, you know, wow, that's pretty cool. Let me rewind it.
Well, see, and I like personally, of course, I hate Georgia, but at some point you have to respect people like Kirby Smart for what they're able to do. They don't lose.
They do, and it is. And like I said, we've been to Georgia's camp, and we went down there and listened to him speak and his coaches speak and watch them practice. And you know, there's some things that, you know, rubs you the wrong way with Kirby because, you know, and the same thing with Nick Saban. There's some things that they do that rub you the wrong way because they're so arrogant about it. Yeah. But that's what makes them good. Yeah. And that's what makes them good at what they do. And but they still understand the ultimate goal of, you know, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about not even we. It's about everybody that's involved in this thing. So we represent way more than just this football program. We're representing a university. We're representing the state of Georgia, and you know that's pretty. You know that's the way you got to look at it.
Absolutely. Now, one of the other things I've heard about that is you play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. Now, of course, I didn't come up with that, and I don't know where it came from,
that's a good way to.
But you know, it's just another way of looking at it, where you know it's about the name on the front, not the one on the back. And it's when I first heard that, it's so simple, but it makes a lot of sense.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Yep. We've mentioned the same exact comments here. You know, and you know, if we're going to build this program the right way, and we're going to get Dickson back on the map, and I think we're headed in the right direction for sure. But it's more about we're not playing for me. We're playing for Dickson County High School, and we're playing for Dickson County in general. And so it's the name on the front of the jersey, not the back.
Okay, well, I've got one more question before we go to our next break. You know, you just brought up Jeffrey Simmons. You'd probably like to have your own Jeffrey Simmons, wouldn't you, on the defensive lineup here?
I think everybody would. Golly, man, he just pushes people around. And they ran a play yesterday, and that guy was the big offensive tackle. You know, he's 6'4", 5", whatever he is, playing offensive tackle and weighs 290 pounds. And Simmons just grabs him and throws him over like he's just a twig in the wind and makes a tackle down there on the goal line. I was like, gosh, man, how to be so powerful and strong. He's, you know, I heard Dave McGinnis or somebody call him a unicorn, and you know that's kind of right. I mean, you don't get very many of them, and he's a mythical creature, and you don't find them like that very often.
No, and he's so quick off the ball too. Mm-hmm. He's not just because he's big, you know, he's still fast too, which is insane.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
Looking for a mortgage loan? Look no further than First Lending Solutions. Pamela Witt and her team make getting a mortgage easy with no hidden fees and no surprises. We work for you, not the banks, so you can trust us to have your best interest at heart. Get pre-approved in minutes and enjoy a seamless, stress-free experience. Apply online or call us today.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. A truly enjoyable car buying experience, friendly customer service, and a great selection of vehicles. Visit us today.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. My name is Casey Patrick. I'm here with Coach Thompson. Coach, Houston, they're 8-2. Well-known program. They win a lot of football games, been in the playoffs for a long time, a few years straight now. What do you know about them just off the top of your head?
Well, like I said, we started that with that. We looked them up. We wanted to know what's their tradition as far as how many times they've been to the playoffs and how many, is this something that's common for them? Do they, so yes, it is. Like you said, they've been to the playoffs quite a few years in a row. As far back as we looked, actually, and I think we looked 7 or 8 years deep, and then we just quit looking because, that's tradition for them to go to the playoffs, and so this is nothing common for them or uncommon for them. They're going to be very familiar with what a playoff atmosphere and what a playoff team looks like. That's going to be something new for us because it is different. It's totally different. Friday night, this coming Friday night's totally different than any other Friday night we've had, and it's just there's an air about it, and that's just it's awesome to be a part of it. But like I said, Houston's done it a few times more than we have recently, and they're a pretty good program.
I want to say 2011 was the last time they hadn't made the playoffs. I went back and started looking up myself, but now when looking at their offensive numbers, now their defense, I'll be honest, doesn't really jump off the page, but offensively they've got a lot of different weapons that do a lot of different things, and they like to throw the ball around, don't they?
Yeah, well, they're very balanced. They'll run it, and then they will throw it too, but they do like to throw it, and they like to stretch you deep, and they got a number 4 is really good at the wide receiver position. They also will run a lot of quick screens with him. Offensively, we got to keep their offense off the field as much as possible. So, that's one of those deals where we're going to have to play offenses, stack those drives together or those first downs together so we can keep their offense on the sidelines because that's going to be the best way to keep them from scoring.
Yeah, I think the player you're talking about, I can't remember his Derek Miller Jr., but I think he averaged about 29 yards a catch this year, which is pretty high. But
yeah.
Now, I want to say this morning at about 3 o'clock, I was finishing up my Pick'ems article about what I thought was going to happen on Friday, and I just said the same thing you did about the offense is going to have to complement the defense. It's not stupid, it's not cowardly, but you want to play keep away. You don't want to.
Yep, that's exactly right. No, that's exactly right, and it's not cowardly, it's not stupid. That's just strategy. And you do it in basketball a lot of times too. You're going to make sure that you have 4, 5, 6 passes and keep a good set, and make sure that you get a real clean shot because you don't want their offense to go down and hit 3 after 3 after 3. So they do it in basketball, and we're going to do it in football, and a lot of times. There's games that this past year where we've went out offensively and wanted to score really fast and establish a strong lead like with Kirkwood. We wanted to get on the board and not that we don't want to get on the board right away Friday night, but we're going to be content with taking the ball and eating a whole quarter up and getting the ball down in there and having a chance to score it and keeping the ball away from them. So I love that strategy.
Yeah, absolutely, and part of it too is not just. It's not just keeping the ball away from them. It makes it hard for them to get in a rhythm, too, when they're not out there.
And you're talking about that, going back to Kentucky, Tennessee, and Heupel mentioned the same thing. He said, they're shortening the game, so there's going to be less series for us to be out there offensively, so we got to make sure that we capitalize on all of our game series. So Kentucky likes to do that. They like to play the way we're going to play this Friday. Slow it down. Shorten the game, take a couple of series away from Tennessee's offense, and that's the philosophy we're having this week. Is we're going to shorten the game, try to slow it down, and take a couple of opportunities away from Houston just by eliminating some series.
Now, I know your kids haven't been in this situation yet. You're not worried about them, are you? Or you're not worried? They're not scared.
No, I don't think any. We put ourselves in a position at the beginning of the year to not have to worry about who we're playing. I mean, when you go out and play Page, who was the 5A state runner-up from the previous year, and you go out and play Beach, who's the 6A state runner-up, you can't get any better than that. So, it's not. It's just another football game because we've established ourselves. With a pretty good schedule that shouldn't nobody on the field ever intimidate us to the point where we're scared.
Yeah. Now, a long drive on Friday. Do you think that makes it any different, or is it going to screw anything up?
It does a little bit. Nobody wants to sit on the bus for that long. But we're gonna leave school a little early, and about 1 o'clock, and we're gonna drive to Jackson, get out and eat, and have a team meal together, and stretch our legs, and kind of take our time, and then get back on the bus and go the rest of the way down. So we're going to break up the drive into a couple of different stops, and hopefully that'll help us, with that.
Okay. Now I know, whenever I'm with our bowling team and we're on the bus, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it isn't because you got to do it with kids in a confined space. But do you enjoy getting to, maybe sometimes sit down and just talk with a few?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. It's and sometimes I'll just move around and talk to different ones on the bus, and it's fun to cut up with them and have joke with them a little bit and just have a good time. And there's times for you want to get to know them and so know about who they are, what they like and dislike outside of football, and that's a good opportunity to do that whenever you're stuck on a bus with them for 2.5 hours.
Absolutely.
Which, we know quite a bit, and I've told people forever, is that, X's and O's is one thing, but where you win football games is building relationships with your players and your teammates, and when you are all in and ready to go to battle for the people around you, then that's when you become a good football team, or any team.
Absolutely. Now, one last question, Coach. What are you guys expecting to do on Friday, and what is it going to take to come back home with a win?
Well, that's just that. I mean, offensively, we have to sustain long drives, and we have to keep the ball away from Germantown, Houston by moving the chains on offense, and not only just moving the chains, but capitalizing when we get the opportunity down, inside the red zone. And if we can do that, and force them offensively to work the field too, and not just give up the big play, we'll give ourselves a chance. And that's what. That's what I'm going to tell the guys today when they come in, and that's what we talked about yesterday as coaches is that we want to go into halftime with knowing that we're still in a football game. Anything can happen if we can get to the fourth quarter of a football game, and still have striking distance in front of us.
All righty. Well, the biggest game for Dickson County High School since at least a decade. So.
Yeah, 2012, I guess, was the last time. So that's pretty cool. We're back in it, and we're going to just keep building it from here.
When I've been telling my coworkers and other people, I've been wanting to cover a Dickson County High School football game in the playoffs. So I get to do that this week, and good luck, Coach.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Go Cougars.
There it was. All right. We'll see y'all Friday night. Have a good evening.
You've been watching the Dickson County High School Coaches Show with Dickson County head coach Jeff Tomlinson and Dickson Post sports reporter Casey Patrick. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest on Dickson County football. The Dickson County Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, Lee Canifax with Health Markets Insurance, Steve Jones, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Tim Sutherland with Rolling Hills Realty, Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.